America will fall.
Feel like something big is happening today in the world, and the world is watching. Like America is now facing the consequence of their own choice. Like history is now turning on them. Now, let's be clear about this because America is now like it's falling. It's already falling, right. So there is no separate. There is not a separate God of black people. God is Christianity, Islam, and mostly African traditions believe in God, and is God over all the nation. God is everywhere. Okay, so if God judges nations, it's about justice, oppression, pride, corruption, and more so moral direction. Because America has been always facing its own wrong way, right? So about justice, America has been always been unfair about the black people in America, oppressing them. They have pride of feeling like they are the one on top, but Africa is still down here.
Is the United States in decline? Have we lost our dominance, and are we falling like the Roman Empire? The Roman Empire is always such a terrible comparison. Not only the fact that it was like 2,000 years ago, technology and just the way of viewing the entire world was so completely different. Rome was right next to its worst enemy, Persia. At the end of the 1st century AD, they were constantly dealing with Germanic invasions due to the pushes from the Huns, and they were dealing with so much regional instability in northern Africa. The empire was forced to constantly expand to feed its own people, and they had to keep the vast bulk of their military all the way to the edges and the frontiers to maintain the borders. And don't forget, guys, Persia was again a very organized and powerful empire that was innovating technologically, militarily in ways that Rome could not keep up. The United States does not have that problem. Rome's enemies were right at their borders. The United States is separated by 2 whole oceans from any potential rival. And none of the rivals that we have, and I shouldn't even say rival, but China and Russia, have the logistical capacity to launch an invasion across an ocean. The only country that's been able to do that is the United States. And when it comes to the US having a rival like Rome did with Persia, when it comes to technological advancement, the US is still far, far ahead of any of its peers. All right, the top 2% scientists in the world overwhelmingly are in the United States. We have 71,392, while China, I guess our biggest contender, has 27,165, even though they have 4 times more people than we do. Now, don't get me wrong, the United States is losing scientists to other countries due to our ridiculous policy with the H-1B visas. And if we have a string of presidents like the one we have in office right now, we may actually start to lose our scientific edge. But for now, as long as we elect another president who isn't like this guy, then yeah, we're still far ahead technologically and intellectually. Then there's the economic standpoint. Even at the zenith of the Roman Empire, between the 1st and 2nd century, the most dominant economy on the planet was Han Dynasty China, just because they had a larger supply of silver and, of course, a much larger population. I welcome any historian to show me that the world's major commodities at that time were priced in the Roman silver denarius, the way that oil, gold, silver, and of course all the equities are priced in.
This government shutdown is not like the others. It's officially the longest shutdown in US history. People think it's just about politics and budgets, but it's not. It's about control, collapse, and financial reset. They're not fixing the system, they're breaking it on purpose. Everything is becoming so unaffordable and we're living paycheck to paycheck. Most of us are struggling to survive. And I believe as we struggle, they're going to present their solution, which will be digital currency, which will give them full control. Look around. People are losing jobs to AI. The dollar is losing value and inflation keeps growing. Every shutdown, every crisis, every fix that they create moves us closer to a digital system. Other countries have already shown us how it works. Nigeria has forced digital cash. China ties spending to a social credit score. Europe is preparing the digital euro and is already enforcing the digital ID. In America, we are next. So I don't think this shutdown is temporary. I think it's transformational. It's designed to destroy trust in the old system so they can roll out the new one. New system will be completely digital. The Bible warned us about a time that would come that no one could buy or sell without the mark. We are watching that prophecy unfold right now in real time. This isn't conspiracy, this is prophecy. And while the world looks for answers in politics, the real answer has always been spiritual. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. We can't escape what's coming, but we can trust in him. Everything happening right now is part of an agenda, but it was also written about long before it began. So repent.
America is going to collapse, and it might not be today, but we definitely don't have 50 more years. It doesn't matter if Trump leaves office today. It doesn't matter what politician gets into office, because you can't put a band-aid on what was built broken. Putting a different politician in office is only delaying the inevitable. There are foundational flaws built inside the system. And no one wants to admit it, but most of it has to do with institutional racism and slavery. We built our entire economy off of free and cheap labor. How long did they think that was going to last? I mean, realistically, we have another 10 years max. If it wasn't for the pandemic, this could have went on maybe another 50 years. But because the pandemic put a strain on such an already flawed economy, it has put us back at least 20 years. It has taken 20 plus years off the American life system. It no longer can live. I mean, literally, there's nothing that can be saved. Nothing. Agriculture is going to die. I mean, look at what's happening with Nevada. The reason that Nevada's economy is going bankrupt is because it literally operated off of cheap Hispanic labor. Without cheap labor, they literally cannot have an economy. They cannot afford to pay white people to work because they know white people are going to demand a livable wage. Y'all can say whatever, but the entire system runs on defrauding people. I mean, just think about the prison industrial system. Another form of cheap slave labor. It's the reason why black people get arrested and convicted at higher rates than white people, because they need a class of people to abuse in order to keep the economy going. Our economy...
America's downfall won't be caused by foreign enemies, economic collapse, or lack of innovation. It will be destroyed by the very things it was built on: racism, greed, power, and the exploitation of the marginalized. So let's start with racism. America's had a centuries-long addiction to white supremacy, from slavery to Jim Crow to mass incarceration to modern-day suppression. The system wasn't just built on racism, it still depends on it. And you can't build trust and unity and long-term prosperity when the foundation is hatred and division. Now let's talk about the power, because America doesn't just chase power, it hoards it. At the very top, power is concentrated in the hands of a few, bought and sold through billion-dollar lobbying firms and dark money, and the people at the bottom, well, they're distracted and divided and disposable. But power with no accountability always turns inward. It eventually devours its own. Then there's greed. America's true religion. Every institution, healthcare, housing, education, even justice is for sale. The rich don't pay taxes, corporations exploit workers, billionaires fly to space while families can't afford insulin. And no emperor has ever survived when it values profit more than people. And finally, exploitation. This country built its wealth off the backs of stolen people on stolen land. And to this day, it thrives off keeping black, brown, indigenous, immigrant, and poor communities in struggle. It's modern day plantation capitalism, wrapped in flags and hashtags. But here's the warning. You can only ignore the cries of the oppressed for so long before the system breaks. While America continues to argue about whether racism is real, the rest of the world is moving forward, investing in education, universal healthcare, green energy, and collective progress. They're building bridges, America's burning them. And yes, if this country doesn't confront its demons, it will collapse from the inside out. Not because of the lack of greatness, but because of its refusal to share that greatness with everyone. The future won't be stolen by...
So we all agree that the American empire is collapsing, right? Like, we have 81% of Americans taking an experimental medication that is going to end their lives prematurely. We have brother fighting brother in the street. We have the value of the dollar collapsing through the floor. And we have tens of millions of Americans that didn't even make it out of the womb. Did you know that somewhere between 20 and 30% of Gen Z doesn't even exist? That is tens of millions of Americans that could have fought on the side of right and could have fought against this system that were taken away from us. This was done to us. This was not done for us. And a little spoiler alert for those of you trying to figure out who's responsible, the call is coming from inside the house.
Okay? So, not about skin color. It's not about, now it's about America and the Trump. It's on his own neck. Right? So the election of Donald Trump was driven by the economic frustration, cultural division, immigration debates, and mostly political polarization. Right? So that's human politics, not racial, spiritual warfare. No, And here is the what people are missing out. Many empires in history declined when they become divided, when they lose moral clarity about their own government. They overextended power. Internal conflict grows every single day because Trump has been demanding to take over Canada, taking over Venezuela, and it's crazy. It's funny because he is overdoing these things. Overstepping and it's hurting some people out there. So some people interpret America's current struggle as a part of its own plan, choices, pattern, and everything. Okay? So, if God judges nations, he should judge all of them. America, Africa, nations, Europe, and Asia. No race owns God. No race controls prophecy. No race automatically protected by punishing other community, because God can't be punishing America for the sake of them assuming to follow the plans of the black people from Africa, from America, and everything. Everything happens for a reason. History moves in circle. Power shifts. Leaders rise and fall. That's human system has been made destroy the entire content of America. And if you are feeling like America is now facing the consequences of their own choices, that is now political and historical observation, because we have been seeing this for a while. Not a actual spiritual war with maybe God or something, because America has been facing ups and downs, the struggle and everything. And for fun, it's happening that America are now the one in need of black people. Okay, so I don't want to use the term like God of black people is now punishing the black people from America. No, that a bit sounding like I'm trying to feel like God only belongs to the black people, but that ain't right. We want to be clear about this whole thing. We want to be honest with each other. America is falling, and for us to step in and help the country that has been there, destroying our name, killing us, giving us injustice, choosing American people over the black people. It's crazy, and you can't do anything for now. So God of black people ain't punishing white people through Trump. Trump is just a man who loses his own words or something. He does something, he comes out there, promise you, but in return, he gives you nothing but frustration, stress. You have to think of now bet on how to live life in America, surviving mode. Of course, today America now on just surviving mode because nobody is able to afford everything the way is supposed to be living. America has many people, but let me say like 10 M people are living comfortably, freely, and yeah. But the others who are working classes, they are the ones struggling out there to make a living, to pay debts, to pay rent, to buy fuel, to refill the gas and everything. And it's paying them. They want a change in America. Let me ask you, if at all Trump today will choose to resign, who will you be able to give a seat in the White House in America? Tell in the comments. Because I don't know from you, because you know the best for you. I mean, look at you. You believe in yourself, but now once you believe in somebody, the second time they do something again, you don't serve them. Okay? Because Africa and the world and the black man out there are the ones suffering, struggling to make their both ends meet. Okay? God bless you. Peace be with you. And I'll see you in the next episode. I'm out.